Welcome to this edition of Morgan Yas for Podcasts. Wednesday afternoon here. Super Bowl week is finally here. Last football game until meaningful football game until October or August. So it's always bittersweet. Obviously, Super Bowl is always awesome and it's fun to watch. And there is a lot of Iowa connections to the Super Bowl with it being the Chiefs. And then obviously with the Kittle and Purdy being on the 49ers and their Iowa and Iowa State connections. So big week here, welcoming Trevor back this week from his hiatus in Naples, Florida, enjoying the weather that I guess wasn't that great down there, actually. I mean, it was good, better than here, but it wasn't great.
It was a little bit chilly and windy. It was better than most places, of course. But yeah, we had our sales meeting down there. We were supposed to do some events outside, other than golf one day, which was good. We were just stuck in this resort um, the entire time, which was it was good for the meetings, but it would have been nice to get outside a little bit more.
All right. Let's just kind of dive right into it. It is Super Bowl week. Chiefs 49ers repeat from 4 years ago of the Super Bowl where the Chiefs won and come from behind fashion. 49ers had a pretty good lead there, and the Chiefs came back under Mahomes's, magic, whatever you want to call it, couple plays there. Um, just several stats and betting, kind of tendencies, whatever. Every Super Bowl that's been a repeat, the team that won the first one has won the second one. It's kind of this is a fourth time and 3 for 3. The team that won the first one also won the second one. So that's kind of a nod to the Chiefs, if you want.
I know it is. I mean, the Chiefs, a lot of the players that played in the Super Bowl there a few years ago for the 49ers are still on the team. Some with the Chiefs, of course, Mahomes and Kelsey, specifically Chris Jones. I think the real key, obviously, for the 49ers, first of all, can they run the ball with McCaffrey? The Chiefs' defense is excellent. It probably is the best defense in the entire league. I know in the playoffs, they're only allowing 13.7 points per game. And regular season and playoffs combined, they've only given up 21 points or more 5 times.
Yep.
So and then obviously it's going to be Brock Purdy. In my opinion, if he has even one turnover, that's probably going to cost him because you just can't give this Chiefs team with Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey with their experience, you can't give them any extra possessions. So I think even if Purdy has one turnover, I think that's going to be too many. He's got to have zero, I think.
I agree, and I was talking with the Chiefs fan, and I do like this point here that they really don't need to change their game plan a lot off the Ravens. You just substitute Lamar for Christian McCaffrey. You got to bottle up McCaffrey. If McCaffrey runs wild, you're in for a long day. And then, if you're the 49ers, okay, so you take McCaffrey away from us. Now, Purdy isn't going to run like Lamar, but he only had like 9 less yards than Lamar in the championship game. But your receivers and tight ends as a whole are better. Ayuk, Samuel, and Kittle are better than Flowers, Beckham Jr., and Andrews as they are today. Beckham 10 years ago, Andrews 100%. It's much closer. But, those three for the 49ers are better than the Ravens three. So that you got to lean on them.
Yeah, with McCaffrey, I would say if I'm a Chiefs fan anyway, if you can hold McCaffrey to about 100 total yards, I think that would be pretty good. 60, 70 rushing, 30, 40 receiving,
Yeah.
because he's going to get some plays. He's just too good
Yeah.
of a player not to get some, but you don't want him going for 150 plus or something like that, because then, they're going to control the clock and keep Mahomes off the field.
Yeah. I mean, and then you hit it. Purdy cannot have those boneheaded turnovers that he tends to have. And then he turns around and then makes some great plays, but it might be too little too late if he has an early turnover or something goes haywire and they get down 21-0 or something. Like you said, the Chiefs defense just I don't know if you can expect the 49ers to score 30 points like they've been doing.
Yeah, I don't think so. And the Chiefs, if you look at the 49ers, their last two playoff games, the first half, they've been really bad. And
Mhm.
they can't have that in this game, I don't think. And Pacheco could potentially run wild on them. I mean, the Lions ran really well for most of the game. We know the Packers did. So we'll see if Andy Reid's been known to get away from the run a little bit early or a little
Yep,
bit too often in big games. So I'd be interested to see if the Chiefs are running the ball well, if they stick with it.
absolutely. Any other, obviously you weren't on last week, so was there any big surprises or takeaways or anything from the championship games that you want to talk about? I mean, I know it's almost 2 weeks old now, but just since you weren't on here last week, if you want to hit or anything.
Probably the biggest one was just the collapse of my Lions. That was tough to watch.
Yep.
But really going back and reviewing that game on those fourth down calls, the plays were there to be had. This really, it doesn't fall on the coaching, in my opinion. It falls on the players. The players failed in the second half with drop passes. Gibbs had a fumble. So in my opinion, the coaches are going to take all the heat, and that's typically how it works. But if you really go back and look at that, it was on the players in that one.
Yeah. The only one that I thought wasn't the best idea was when they could have kicked the field goal to go up by 3 scores, and he
Mhm.
went for it and didn't get it. And I think that might have been the one that Reynolds dropped. So I mean, it was wide open play, he just dropped it. Um, but that was the one that, man, kick it and go up field goal, 3 scores would have been tough for the 49ers. But and then, obviously they make fun of him. I saw, I think just today or whatever, or last night, I can't remember when it was, but I saw kind of a meme where it was, Dr. Evil from Austin Powers and his son, and just Dan Campbell, and then talking to his kicker, and the kicker trying to say, let's kick a field goal. And every time, no, 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 no.
I did see a stat, and I wish I took a picture of it a while back. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, otherwise I would have had it ready. But there was some stat showing the Lions kicker Bagley in the playoffs from a certain distance. He was like 4 for 9 in his career. And I think that was the same distance it would have been on those field goals.
Okay.
And then it showed the Lions fourth down percentage of getting it on 4th and 2 or shorter, and it was almost double or something. It was much greater. So that kind of helped explain another reason why they probably were going for it. But yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of you. The one I really wanted them to kick was when they were down 3, just tie the ball game up
Oh,
hopefully and stay in the game. That way, if the 49ers go down and score a field goal or touchdown, then you have a chance to go down and tie it again. But I mean, like I said, if you go back and watch those plays, that unfortunately was on the players because the Lions proved, I mean, they've got a roster ready that's good enough to get to a Super Bowl.
mhm.
They just, and that could have been the experience of a lot of those players not playing in that big of a game before.
And coaching staff's not been there either. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just, you think of Andy Reid and you think of Kyle Shanahan. They both had lost Super Bowls. Now Shanahan, as both the coach and coordinator, he was a coordinator of the Falcons when they lost 28 or had 28-3 and lost.
Mhm.
And he got criticized a lot for throwing it too much and not running it, things like that. And he's learned from, and then obviously he lost the Super Bowl 4 years ago. Um, but Andy Reid's, when he was with the Eagles, he couldn't even get to the Super Bowl. He went to the championship game like 4 straight times, only got there once with McNabb and T.O. and lost that one. And then, obviously he wins this one. He's in rarefied air of, the best ever.
The coaching experience, you're right, that makes a big difference too. So for the Lions, I expect them to be competing in the championship game again next year, but that'll be we'll save that for some of our off season and come fall our season previews.
Absolutely. All right. Now, I know we wanted to kind of hit on some of the prop bets. That's one things about the Super Bowl that, is always fun. It's coin toss. It's what color of Gatorade. They just have so many. And then, the other special one this year is DraftKings has a whole slate of them. It's called For the Swifties. Obviously Taylor Swift songs and just, different things with her and Travis Kelce. And the NFL is making a big deal out of this, or maybe they really aren't, but it is a big deal. But they should be making a big deal. It's like, now she has plenty of money, and if she wants to fly there, which I'm sure she's going to, and they've, the time frame is tight, but she can get there. But if I was the NFL and she didn't necessarily want to go or whatever, I would do everything in my power, including giving her the plane and flying it and whatever, no matter what it costs. The amount of money that they make off showing her for the 44 seconds in a game is worth every dollar they would spend in getting her there.
I agree, and they said 25 seconds is the average
Yeah,
for all
44 was the most.
was the most, yeah. And I agree with you. There was a stat out there that viewership from 12 to 17-year-olds is up 53%, and 35 plus is up 34%. Nick Wright was joking in the 3 playoff games combined, she was shown less than Jason Kelce jumping out the press box and drinking beer, which everybody seemed to love. And then during the Ravens game, he mentioned that she was shown 3.5 seconds longer than crab cake commercials. He's like, yeah, but I don't hear anybody talking about big seafood trying to push their agenda down our throat with crab cakes. So I like it. I obviously she's one of my favorites, but I mean, this is going to be 4 hours or so, and they'll probably show her for 30, 40, maybe 50 seconds at most.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a
At
prop bet
most, it'd
out.
be a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, most probably be a minute. There is a prop bet out there, and I couldn't find it. I don't think it's on DraftKings, but it's out there somewhere. During the national anthem, who will the TV coverage show first? Jason Kelce or Taylor Swift? And most people think it'll be Taylor first, but then some people think they'll save her for more toward the end and then show her longer to keep the Swifties more interested, for a little bit longer during the national anthem. So I tried to find that one, but I didn't see it on DraftKings.
No, I mean, you look at the DraftKings slate here, a lot of them,
Well, first of all, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of these prop bets. I mean, there's too many it's
yeah,
mind-boggling how much stuff they have on there.
right. I mean, it's, you know, relations to her songs, like Love Story, Kansas City Chiefs to win, Mahomes and Kelce to combine for all the Chiefs TDs, Karma, Travis Kelce, 0 receptions, and then 49ers win. I knew you were in trouble, and you hit this number perfectly. Christian McCaffrey, 150 rush and receiving yards. If he has that many yards, they're in trouble. Um, how you get the girl, Travis Kelce, to score a TD in each half. Um, friendship bracelets, Travis Kelce and Jerzek to score the first TD. Fearless, Brock Purdy, 300 plus pass yards and 3 passing TDs, and the 49ers win. Those are just the different ones. And there's, like you said, there's a lot of them. Red, the Chiefs to score 22 points in the first half. Let's see, shake it off. 49ers to score first, but then Chiefs come back and win the game. Just they put a lot of thought and money into this because they know it's going to make them money in the long run.
I mean, the betting sites get it, the NFL gets it, all the advertising companies that are paying for commercials definitely want to make sure Taylor Swift's there just so more viewers on the commercials, right? I mean, it's pretty common sense when you break it down and take your, emotions out of it or whatever.
Right.
Everybody wants her there for money purposes, but they're just prop bets in general. I mean, there's hundreds. Some I wanted to start with that I like doing every Super Bowl, and there's been a couple of these I've hit on in the past few years, is the exact score and outcome. For example, the Chiefs win 23-20. That's 70-1. My score prediction, which I'll give later, I'm sure we'll do, is 90-1. There's another one, 49ers 20, Chiefs 17. That's 80-1. So I'll probably have 10 of those, $5 on each. That gives me something to root for. I'll probably have 5 on the Chiefs winning, 5 on the 49ers. You have to hit the exact score, but that kind of gives me something to root for all game long. I think those are pretty fun.
Yeah, and then like you said, you put a bunch of them on there, and you're not going to make a lot of money, but at least covers your expenses, and like you said, makes you tune in and pay more attention and cheer for different scores and everything.
Couple more. This one I do like. It's minus 140, but Mahomes to have 15 plus rushing yards and 215 plus passing yards. Typically in these big games, he has 1 or 2 big runs, it seems like. So I think that one's realistic. Kelce, a TD in each half is plus 950. I'd like that to be a little bit higher, but this whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing, I could see him having a big game. I mean, he and Jerry Rice are the best receivers in playoff history when you look at receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Do you have any others that you want to talk about? I had a couple more.
Not a whole lot, but Kelsey has turned the switch on. He said, I think on his podcast or maybe in an interview, whatever, that it's hard to get up in November for a game against a team you should beat by 30. Now they didn't beat those teams by 30 and they lost a couple of those games, but he has turned the switch on and he is playing like he is 5 years younger the last few weeks compared to it looked like he was a step slow. It looked like his career was winding down, but not the last few weeks. And then the other thing is if the Chiefs win, is Travis going to retire? Is Andy Reid going to retire? Jason going to retire? And then they go have a show kind of like the uh, Manning brothers doing things on TV for a different network. Makes sense. But if I'm Reid, if I'm Kelsey, and they win the Super Bowl, that's back to back. No team's ever won three in a row. That's one thing. And then also, Patrick Mahomes is not retiring. He's only 28 years old. You have the best quarterback in the world locked up for the Chiefs. As long as you're healthy and for Reid, obviously his health's okay, and you want to do it, why would you retire? I mean,
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to if you didn't. They'll have a chance
it
if they
makes
win,
zero.
obviously.
Yeah, it makes zero sense to retire if they win.
Mhm. Yeah, Kelsey's turning on the playoffs. Someone compared it to the NBA a little bit. The Chiefs are almost like an NBA team. They just got to
Oh,
get in, and then
right.
they'll flip a switch, and they really have. This is just kind of random. I was on that website last night that I always talk about on here that I've been on for years, and some guy posted, and he's been on there a long time. He said right now, if Patrick Mahomes retired, he'd be iffy to make the Hall of Fame. And his reasoning is because I think he's 68 all time in passing yards, career passing yards. Is that the silliest thing you've ever heard?
He'd be a first balloter.
He'd be first ballot, no question. I almost responded, but I'm like, that's so dumb. I'm not even going to respond. It was just random. I wanted to bring that up because I know our buddy Zach would get a kick out of that one. The passing yards was his argument. I mean, good Lord. I got just a few more. I think first TD scorer ones are interesting. You can get Kelsey at plus 750, Kittle at 10-1. You can get Mahomes or Purdy at 25 to 28-1. If they were to have a rushing touchdown, again, that first TD, they can't throw it. It has to be rushing.
Right.
But, a quarterback sneak or something or a short play where they run in, there might be a little value there. And then McCole Hardman and the famous Kadarius Toney are 60 to 71. I might throw a couple dollars on them. The reason is the 49ers have a weakness for sweeps and reverses, and both of those guys are good at those. So I might throw $2 on each of them on maybe a reverse or something to get the first TD of the game.
The Chiefs fans are going to lose their mind if Hartman gets a reverse around the edge and he extends that ball. Even if he would score, the just everybody's heart is going to explode for that split second.
Yeah, no, it will. And Tony had big plays in the Super Bowl last
Yep.
year, so maybe they'll put him back out there and give him a chance. We'll see on that one. And then of course is the MVP. We talk about the Super Bowl MVP every year. The smart money is always on whatever quarterback you think is going to win the game,
What
right?
is it?
We know
Is it
that.
175 and 225? Is that what the two are?
I think so. I didn't even write it down because that's just one of those things. Just take your pick, whatever team you think is going to win, bet on the quarterback. But I did think there is some value in some other guys. Isaiah
Like,
Pacheco at 28-1.
yeah.
Uh, again, if the
McCaffrey
Chiefs
was
can run
475, so almost 5 to 1.
475.
Yeah. So I mean, not quite 5 to 1. Not bad there because he could get, like that bet there. You said the number. If he gets 150 yards of scrimmage, he doesn't have to have it all running or all receiving.
Mhm.
If he busts out a 30, 40-yard run or pass for a touchdown and can be the little dump off pass to Purdy when he's getting rushed by Chris Jones and he gets some yards there, he could score 3 touchdowns in a hurry very easily in this game because I think the Chiefs are going to try to take away Samuel. I mean, I think number one has to be McCaffrey, but for some reason, if they decide to let McCaffrey go a little bit and take away the deep threat or Samuel, then McCaffrey could have a heyday, and then that's an easy MVP.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, if you're going to bet someone on the 49ers, McCaffrey's probably the smart play, even over Purdy. That's not a knock at Purdy, but McCaffrey can do a lot of different things. McCaffrey could throw a touchdown in this game for all we know
Right.
on a trick play.
And then just the numbers. He's 475 and Purdy's 225. So you just get more value for your bet anyway.
And then just a few long shots. Really, any of the Chiefs defenders, Chris Jones is 100 to 1, L'Jarius Sneed 150 to 1. If you think if Purdy might have a couple turnovers, maybe Chris Jones forces a fumble, returns it for a TD, or any of the defensive backs, same thing.
Yes. Sneed
Like we've seen defensive players.
Yep.
Especially if it's low scoring too, and a defensive player has a touchdown. We've seen defensive players win MVP before. Not, it takes a special player too, but it's not out of the realm, given Purdy's inexperience and how young he is and how good the Chiefs defense is, quite frankly.
Yeah, and the 49ers defense is great too. They just have not played as great. And I don't know. I mean, you have to give that defense a ton of credit last week, or 2 weeks ago against the Lions. I truly think their plan going in must have been awful or just didn't work, or the Lions out schemed them. But then they switched it. Whatever they were doing, they made the plays when needed. And you have to think that Shanahan went to Wilks and said, hey, buddy, we cannot start a game like that again. So I don't know what their plan's got to be, but it has to start better for the 49ers. And they're, obviously the 49ers are going to take the ball. I would assume they won't defer, will they? Or do they defer?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about that, to be honest, or looked into it.
The 49ers want to get that lead. And they would love to establish, just hand it to McCaffrey, give it to Samuel on end arounds, and just run it down your throat. And then let that D line rush Mahomes. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's the 49ers game plan, and then just let Purdy make good reads, make safe throws, and not have to come from behind. Obviously, every team wants that. Mahomes is still going to have to be Mahomes, I think. I don't, Pacheco has a chance. If the Chiefs get a lead, then I think they're going to lead on Pacheco. But that's not going to be their game plan.
I don't know necessarily. This team's a little bit different. A couple people I've been listening to. Mahomes knows that he has, this is almost an all-time defense, not like a top 10 all-time like that, but it's a damn good defense that he has. And some people have been saying that Mahomes is taking a lot safer plays.
Right.
He knows if he doesn't turn the ball over. So if they get a 7 or 10 point lead, they might do the same thing that you just mentioned as the 49ers might. Safe throws, first downs, punting is okay, especially if the defense is playing well. So we could see it both ways there. I think another thing too, for Brock Purdy, does he have a lot of balls batted down, 2 or 3 at the line of scrimmage? Because he's a little bit shorter. And then again, Chase Young and Bosa, they crash hard. So look for the Chiefs to try to get them on a reverse or a sweep or something.
And I think we're definitely both leaning, and Vegas thinks this as well. Low scoring game overall. Is there any chance? I mean, I'm not picking this, but is there any chance this is a high scoring game?
Yeah, I mean, of course there is, because they've got so many good offensive players in this game. Mahomes and Kelsey, Rashee Rice is coming into his own. And then the 49ers, we know all about their weapons. Kittle, Samuel, Ayuk, and of course, Christian McCaffrey. But I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. My prediction is right at the over-under.
Yep.
I don't know what yours is. Do you want to do our predictions now?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead, Trev. I'll let you go first.
I've got Chiefs 27, 49ers 20. And I think the over-under is 47.5. So I've just got it under by half a point.
Yeah, I've got it under as well. I got 24-20 49ers. And I'm not 100% sure. I haven't picked it in our pool at the Elks or anything yet. I might switch the other way, but I just cannot go against Purdy. I mean, that's just really, Chiefs win 24-20 or something like that. Not shocking at all. This game is as much of a coin flip as it's been in a long time for a Super Bowl, I think.
It should be a good game. How are you doing in that pool, by the way? Because I know you're doing pretty decent with our playoff picks.
Yeah, so I went 3-3 the first week and then haven't lost since. So
Okay.
I don't know actually what place I'm in. I haven't even seen this week, so I haven't been up there
You got to
for
be
a few
maybe
days.
not at the top, but somewhat close,
Yeah, I
maybe.
mean, if I'll be right there. I would assume if I pick the Super Bowl winner, so I'll
There
be
you go.
definitely towards the top there.
So you got Niners, I got Chiefs. I thought you might actually go Chiefs because I know when we spoke, if I listened to you and Zach's too, you're like, yeah, it'd be tough to pick against Mahomes, but I
Well,
don't blame
I
you.
agree. Like, and if I'm betting just the spread, I'm probably going the Chiefs no matter what. I mean, just especially -2 or whatever it's going to end up. I mean, it's Mahomes is hard to bet against. Like if it was anybody else, Chiefs all day because of Mahomes, but more of a more of a heart bet than a head bet, I guess. So
Well, sometimes you got to go with those.
yeah, yeah. And I'm not a 49ers fan, but Purdy, I've seen most of Purdy's games in college, obviously in person. Besides the away games, we went to the bowl games and stuff. And so he's not just a random quarterback in my book. I guess he's Iowa State's guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You got to root for him. Anything else on the Super Bowl you think we missed?
What do you think about it being in Vegas? Um, Obviously, the town is used to being chaos and a party. They have the infrastructure. They have obviously the hotels. They don't have to change a thing to host the Super Bowl. So in that respect, I think it's great. But if you listen to people that are at Vegas, there's a lot of people that go to Vegas for the Super Bowl no matter what. They actually don't want it there because they're going to get 100,000 people there just because that's people's vacation. They go there to have a big party and everything. And they don't want the actual chaos of the actual Super Bowl and all the stuff going on there. And then just in the big scheme of things, think of 10 years ago, you said Vegas would have an NFL team and the Super Bowl would be there. You'd think you're crazy because of the gambling atmosphere and surrounding sports, but that's just changed so much in the last 5 years that, you know, all the teams have a gambling partner now. The NFL embraces it. They just went all in on Vegas and gambling in general. So I think it's fine, but I do understand the hotels and the casinos actually would prefer it be somewhere else.
Think it's great. I mean, I think it's going to be probably become the most popular Super Bowl site moving forward. Vegas is
Yep.
easy to get to. Typically, flights are cheap. Now, obviously, they're going to jack them up for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Did you hear somewhere that the casinos weren't liking this? Because I figured they would like the extra people coming in and betting and all that kind of stuff.
So the local radio station here, they talked to the guy that runs Circa, Stadium Swim, and all them. He's from Iowa, or not the owner, but like one of the head, and he's like he would rather them not because they sell out anyway. And then it's just a little bit more chaos, and you have a few more people trying to get there. But he goes, "This is one where we don't need them here to make a lot of money." So that it's not that they necessarily don't want it there, but they're not seeing the influx of money as, let's say, you know, New Orleans would see on a obviously New Orleans, same thing. They're used to a party. They're running right, getting ready right for, Carnival and, Fat Tuesday and Ash Wednesday coming up next week. So it just works that way. But you go to a Miami or I don't know, wherever else, Scottsdale, where the new one is there in Phoenix, and obviously, I think one of the better places is SoFi, LA. Actually, I a little bit of me wishes they'd host it like in the Rose, like not even an NFL stadium. Just go to the Rose Bowl where it's just everybody dreams of playing on that field. Most people, granddaddy of them all, just play it there every year. Would be another good place in my opinion. That won't ever happen, but that'd be another place. Just like I'd like to see the national championship there every year. Let's have the Super Bowl there. Kind of have it as the big games.
Well, there would be cool. I know a couple of the problems. The stadium's pretty old, and of course the suites and all that.
Yeah,
I can't remember
yeah.
the
I mean,
suites,
it's
but the Super Bowl is becoming a big corporate event, so they want to have them at, these new fancy stadiums with all the press boxes and, all
Well,
that kind of stuff.
absolutely, there's that. And then essentially what they're doing is they're baiting you and telling an NFL franchise or a city that you build a brand new stadium, we'll bring the Super Bowl to you.
Mhm.
I mean, even
Yeah,
they
that's
had they
basically the
had the
unwritten
Super
rule.
Bowl in New York, and they had the Super Bowl in Minneapolis
Indianapolis.
when they built U.S. Bank Stadium brand new. So I mean, essentially, if you build a brand new stadium, they're going to bring the Super Bowl to you. I mean, the only place that they wouldn't, it would be Green Bay. It's outside. You could not have it out there. Can't Probably can't have it in Chicago unless you have a dome. Chicago builds a new stadium out in Arlington Heights and they put a dome on it or a retractable roof, whatever. They'll have a Super Bowl there too.
Lucas Oil Stadium, when Tyler Sash played there with the Giants against the Patriots, me and a bunch of college buddies went to
Yep.
Indianapolis for the weekend. We didn't go to the game. Of course, we didn't have
Right.
enough money, but we stayed at a cheap little Motel 6 and we just went around downtown Indy and we had lunch with Tyler one day. But that was shortly after they built their new stadium too. So it worked out pretty good. The weather was pretty good there. They had space heaters all over the sidewalks and stuff, the overhead ones. But yeah, basically now if you build a new stadium in the right areas, of course, you're going to get a Super Bowl within 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like you said, I don't think it's a rule, but it's kind of a wink, wink, nod, nod. You build a new stadium, we'll bring our thing to you.
That's right.
All right. Anything else with the Super Bowl or anything? I know we got one more kind of topic to hit on, and we'll do that after our break. But we got about 5 minutes here before we have to take our
Um,
break.
I thought I heard you and Zach talking last week. You said you weren't sure about the 2 weeks in between.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And I think just to lead up, I mean, it would be really hard. You think about, they had opening night or media night, whatever, right away. How about playing on Sunday and flying to wherever and going to do that 24 hours later? It just doesn't work. And then just logistically, it just doesn't work. But I'd like to hear the players if they would rather just play it. They understand it's not going to happen, and logistically, I understand it. But I think just truly playing, they're used to playing every week. And I think that's been a little bit of a detriment to the 49ers, where they didn't play for 3 weeks. When they played the Packers, they weren't real good. Bad first half, and obviously good second half against the Lions. Will they come out slow again because rhythm and everything? That will be an issue. And then obviously the Chiefs not having a bye week. They're used to having the bye week to get into the playoffs. And then obviously their experience of going to the Super Bowl. Who will come out faster, I guess we'll see. But I do understand it. A little bit of me wishes it was earlier, but it does extend the football season just that much longer. So that's never a bad thing.
Reason I like it too is it gives both teams a little bit extra time to try to get as healthy as possible. That way, hopefully, we have the best game. I mean, James Jones, I was listening to him yesterday. He said Monday and Tuesday of this week, he's like, you do all the media stuff. But he said by today, which is Wednesday, he's like, you're tired of it. He's like, you're ready to get out there and play. The last few days, it takes a toll on you, so you are ready. But you're right. I mean, I think another reason they do the 2 weeks is to let the fans of these teams that make it decide if they want to go or not.
Right. I mean,
See if they
like I
get
said,
tickets.
logistically, 1 week is not enough. I mean, it
Right.
just simply is not. So I truly understand it. And what's funny, it's just like bowl games. You think, you got a month to prepare. They really don't. They do the prep is that week. And same thing with this week. Last week was all about preparation, get yourself healthy, get your family and whatever's happening to get yourself ready for the game. And people understand most times, they play on Sunday. They're not required to be at the facility again till Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday are off. Now, nobody that is any good takes it off. They're still working, but their first day of practice is Wednesday, maybe Tuesday night, depending on scheduling. But they're used to putting a whole game plan in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's just what they do. So,
A lot of guys will come in and get they'll get
Oh,
rehab Monday and
oh
Tuesday if they
yeah. I
want,
mean,
and whatever. Like you said, that most guys are coming in anyway, especially for Super Bowl and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully, both these teams are as healthy as can be. And that's another advantage, I guess, for 2 weeks. But no,
yeah,
I think that's enough for the Super Bowl. Hopefully it's a good
yeah.
game, not a
It,
blowout either way.
anybody that's truly out besides the D lineman, it's hard to say his name for the Chiefs that tore his ACL.
Uh their offensive lineman, now I'm having a
Yeah,
brain fart. The
and
Chiefs offensive
he
lineman, I
didn't
think he's
play
gonna be out.
he didn't play last week either, right? Or
Yeah, I
two
believe
weeks
so.
ago. Yeah,
So I'll have to look that up. But no, most of the stars should be in this game. Hopefully they don't obviously get hurt during the game, and hopefully it's a good one.
absolutely. All right. We'll bring it back here in just a couple minutes here, Trev.
Okay.